sensational. Not a world record, but a performance of real heart, of real guts, of real courage. His is a name we will remember for generations to come. He's only the fourth man to successfully defend this title.
These three athletes ran so fast in one race that they broke not one, not two, but 3 world records at the same time. And the craziest part is that the person who came in third place ran faster than anyone in history had ever run before that day. This is the story of the greatest rivalry in track and field history. 3 men, 1 race, and a moment that changed the 400-meter hurdles forever. Let me take you back to August 3rd, 2021. The Tokyo Olympics. The morning was hot and humid at the Olympic Stadium, but nobody was thinking about the weather. Everyone was focused on one event, the men's 400-meter hurdles final. 3 names were on everyone's lips: Karsten Warholm from Norway, Rai Benjamin from the United States, and Alison dos Santos from Brazil. These 3 athletes had been chasing each other for years, but this race was going to be different. Nobody knew just how different. Before we get to that incredible race, let's talk about how these 3 became rivals in the first place. The story starts with Karsten Warholm. This Norwegian athlete from a small town in western Norway became a champion in an event his country had never really dominated. Before every race, Warholm does something unique. He whacks his chest and lets out a Viking roar. It's his signature move, and it tells everyone watching, "I'm here to win." By 2019, Warholm was already a 2-time world champion. At the World Championships in Doha that year, he won gold with a time of 47.42 seconds. Following close behind him was Rai Benjamin from the United States, who ran 47.66 seconds for silver. And back in 7th place was a young Brazilian runner named Alison dos Santos. He ran 48.28 seconds, which was his personal best at the time.
And Benjamin's trying to close. Watch the clock, it's going to be fast. Karsten Warholm defends the title, 47-44.
But things were about to change fast. In June 2021, just weeks before the Tokyo Olympics, Benjamin shocked the world at the US Olympic trials. He ran 46.83 seconds. This made him only the 4th man in history to run under 47 seconds. People started wondering, could Benjamin beat Warholm at the Olympics?
Michael Norman has made the team, and he said that really fired me up. And now he's fired up. The trials record is 47.37. Let's see how quick he goes. 46.84. That's almost a world and American record.
Warholm had an answer. Just 5 days later, he ran even faster. He clocked 46.70 seconds in Oslo, breaking a world record that had stood for 29 years. Kevin Young had set that record way back in 1992. Now it was gone. The race was set. Warholm versus Benjamin, the world record holder versus the rising star. Everyone expected an amazing battle, but nobody, and I mean nobody, expected what actually happened. August 3rd, 2021, the final. Warholm was in lane 6. Benjamin was right next to him in lane 5. When the gun went off, Warholm exploded from the blocks. He took an early lead and kept it for most of the race. Benjamin started gaining ground on the final straight. He got closer and closer to Warholm. For a moment, it looked like he might catch him, but Warholm never gave up. Instead of slowing down, he found another gear. He powered through the final meters and crossed the finish line first. The time on the scoreboard was unbelievable, 45.94 seconds. Let that sink in. Warholm had just become the first person ever to run under 46 seconds in the 400-meter hurdles. He didn't just break his own world record, he destroyed it. He ran 0.76 seconds faster than his previous record. In track and field, that's huge. But here's where it gets even more amazing. Benjamin finished second in 46.17 seconds. That's a North American record, and get this, his time was faster than Warholm's old world record from just 1 month earlier. And Dos Santos, he won the bronze medal in 46.72 seconds, a South American record, a time that would have been a world record just a few weeks before. Think about that for a second. The person who came in third ran faster than anyone had ever run in history until a month ago. That's how incredible this race was. In total, 6 of the 8 runners in that final set either a world, continental, or national record. It was the greatest 400-meter hurdles race ever run. When Warholm saw his time, he couldn't believe it. He tore open his shirt and stood there with his mouth wide open in shock. He later said, "By far the biggest moment of my life. It's just so big. It's almost like history here. It was the only thing missing from my collection." Warholm had already won world championships. He had European championships. He had world records. But the Olympic gold medal? That's what everyone talks about. And now he had it. Benjamin was devastated even though he ran the second fastest time in history. He walked down the track by himself with tears in his eyes. He said, "Knowing that you want to be the best, this is what it costs. It's hard, it hurts, but it is what it is. Right now, I am just full of emotion. I have worked so hard. This is what matters. I got a medal, but it just hurts to lose." But Benjamin wasn't done. He promised he would come back stronger. He said, "I'm a dog. I'm a fighter. It's my first Olympics. I made some mistakes that cost me, but it's all right. I'll fix it." Benjamin even compared the race to Usain Bolt's legendary 100-meter world record. He said, "I don't think Usain Bolt's 9.5 was better than this." That's how special this race was. Now, you might think Warholm would dominate forever after that performance, but this rivalry was just getting started. In 2022, the World Championships came to Oregon. Dos Santos had been improving all season. He ran 46.80 seconds at the Stockholm Diamond League, the fastest time in the world that year. He was now a real threat. In the final, Dos Santos was in lane 6. He couldn't see Warholm or Benjamin from his position, so he just focused on his own race. He attacked from the start and ran aggressively the whole way. For the first 300 meters, Warholm looked like he was in control. He was even a step ahead of Benjamin going into the final turn. But then something changed. Warholm started to slow down. The 2 preliminary heats had taken their toll on him. He was running out of energy. Dos Santos surged ahead. Benjamin tried desperately to catch him but couldn't. Dos Santos won in 46.29 seconds, a championship record and a South American record. Benjamin took silver in 46.89 seconds. And Warholm, he faded all the way back to 7th place.
Whoa! The world record will go! The world record will go! The world record!
It was the first time Benjamin had ever beaten Warholm. Dos Santos said this after the race, "I knew Warholm and Benjamin are faster than me and have better times. I just tried to focus on my hurdles and focus on my race." Warholm was honest about what happened. "I've been on this cloud for 3 or 4 years with everything going my way. Today I went all or nothing, and unfortunately, it was nothing. This was huge." The rivalry that looked like Warholm versus Benjamin was now a 3-way battle. The unholy trinity of 400-meter hurdlers was born. But Warholm wasn't finished either. In 2023, he came back strong at the World Championships in Budapest. He went unbeaten all year and reclaimed his world title. He surged ahead in the final 100 meters and won in 46.89 seconds. Benjamin got bronze this time, and Dos Santos finished 5th. Warholm now has 3 world championship titles from 2017, 2019, and 2023. That's more than anyone else in the history of the event. Then came the Paris Olympics in 2024. Finally, it was Benjamin's turn to stand on top. He won the gold medal, with Warholm taking silver and Dos Santos getting bronze. Benjamin had finally gotten his Olympic gold. Right now, heading into 2025, Benjamin leads the world rankings with 46.54 seconds. Dos Santos is second with 46.65 seconds. And Warholm is 4th with 47.28 seconds. But here's the thing about this rivalry. When these 3 line up against each other, rankings don't matter. They push each other to run faster than anyone thought possible. Benjamin is still the only one without a world championship title. He has Olympic gold, but he wants that world title. The 400-meter hurdles used to be an event where breaking 47 seconds was considered incredible. Now these 3 have made running under 47 seconds look routine. The greatest rivalry in track and field history isn't over. It's still being written, and we get to watch it unfold.
Minnesota in 4, Auburn in 6. It's going to be Auburn. 38-34 unofficially, but the time is inconsequential. It's the 10 points.
What if I told you that finishing in last place in the final race could actually win you a championship? Sounds impossible, right? But that's exactly what happened at the 2025 NCAA Track and Field Championships. Let me take you back to June 14th, 2025 at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. The atmosphere was electric. Thousands of fans packed the stadium for the final day of competition. After 3 days of racing, jumping, and throwing, everything came down to one final event, the men's 4x400-meter relay, and what happened next would go down as one of the most dramatic finishes in college track history. Going into that last race, 3 teams still had a shot at winning the national championship. USC was leading with 40 points, Arkansas had 34 points, and Texas A&M was sitting at 33 points. One race would decide who took home the trophy. USC didn't just need to run fast, they needed to be smart, really smart. Because even though they were in first place, they knew Texas A&M could steal the title with a strong finish. The math was simple but scary. If Texas A&M won the relay, they get 10 points and jump to 43 total points, winning the championship. If they got second place, they get 8 points and reach 41 points. But USC had a plan.
And I believe that's Jalen Knox for the USC Trojans there, sitting in 7th position now.
Jonah Feehill on third leg for Arkansas. A&M and South Florida going to exchange together.
A strategy that nobody expected. They weren't trying to win the relay, they just needed to score one single point. Just one. Because if they could finish in 8th place or better, they'd get at least 1 point and tie Texas A&M for the championship. The gun went off, and 8 teams exploded from the starting line. The first runner took off, legs pumping hard around the track. Then came the handoffs. 1 baton pass, 2 baton passes, 3 baton passes. Each exchange had to be perfect. 1 drop baton and the whole plan falls apart. As the anchor runners grabbed the baton for the final lap, the crowd went wild. At the front of the pack, Texas A&M's Ahmad Robinson was locked in a fierce battle with South Florida's Gabriel Maranta. These two were flying. Robinson pulled alongside Maranta, coming off the final curve. For just a moment, it looked like Robinson would take the lead. The Texas A&M fans were on their feet, screaming. But then something amazing happened. Maranta found another gear, some hidden reserve of speed and strength. He pulled back ahead of Robinson right at the finish line. South Florida crossed first in 3 minutes and 42 seconds. It was stunning. Texas A&M finished second in 3 minutes and 43 seconds, earning 8 points. That gave them 41 total points. Now the camera switched to the back of the pack, because this is where the real drama was happening. USC was battling with Penn State for that crucial 8th place position. The USC runner was fighting with everything he had. His legs were burning. His lungs were screaming. But he kept pushing. He crossed the line in 3 minutes, 3 seconds, and 18 hundredths. Penn State finished just behind him at 3 minutes, 3 seconds, and 85 hundredths. The USC team had finished 8th, dead last in the finals, but they scored that one precious point, and that single point brought their total to 41, the same as Texas A&M, a tie. They were co-champions. But wait, the drama wasn't over yet. Arkansas filed a protest. They claimed that the South Florida runner had bumped into their runner during one of the turns. If the protest was successful, South Florida would be disqualified. Texas A&M would move up to first place and win the title outright. USC would drop to second place along with Arkansas. Everyone waited. The tension was unbearable. Finally, the officials made their decision. The protest was denied. The results would stand. USC and Texas A&M would share the 2025 NCAA Men's Outdoor Track and Field Championship. Now let me tell you why this was so incredible for USC. They hadn't won an outdoor championship in 49 years. Not since 1976. That's basically half a century. But even more impressive, they won the title without winning a single individual event. Not one gold medal. They built their entire championship on consistency and depth. Let me break down how USC scored all 41 of their points. Max Thomas got second place in the 100 meters, earning 8 points. William Jones grabbed second in the 400 meters for another 8 points. Their 4x100 relay team also finished second for 8 more points. Garrett Kaland ran a strong 200 meters and took third place for 6 points. In the field events, Raquel Broderick threw the discus to 4th place, adding 5 points. Max Thomas scored again with 6th place in the 200 meters for 3 points. Johnny Brackens finished 7th in the 400-meter hurdles for 2 points. And finally, that crucial 8th place finish in the 4x400 relay gave them 1 point. 7 different events, 7 scoring opportunities, all on the final day of competition. That's the strategy. That's the depth. That's how you win a championship without winning anything. Texas A&M took a different approach. They had 2 big individual champions. Sam Whitmarsh won the 800 meters in 1 minute and 45.86 seconds. That performance was the 2nd fastest time in Texas A&M history. Alexander Solovev won the pole vault. Those 2 events alone gave them 20 points. Then their 4x400 relay got 2nd place for 8 points. Jaqueline Scott finished 2nd in the 400-meter hurdles for 8 more points. Bryce McRae took 6th in the same event for 3 points, and Ahmed Robinson, who ran that incredible anchor leg in the 4x400, had earlier finished 7th in the 400 meters for 2 points. Both teams scored 41 points, but they did it in completely different ways. Texas A&M had the stars. USC had the team. This was also historic for another reason. USC had won the indoor track championship earlier in March. Now they'd won the outdoor championship too. That made them only the 3rd team in history to win both championships in the same year. The last time it happened was 10 years earlier in 2015. For the coaches and athletes, this moment meant everything. These college athletes train every single day. Early morning workouts, late night practices, studying for classes, and then hitting the track. They sacrifice so much. And for USC, that sacrifice had finally paid off after 49 years of waiting. The women's competition was a different story. Georgia dominated, finishing with 73 points. USC's women took 2nd place with 47 points. Georgia's coach, Carol Smith-Gilbert, had actually won championships at USC before in 2018 and 2021. Now she was beating her old school with her new team. But back to the men's championship. The beauty of this story isn't just about one relay team, it's about understanding how championships work. People think you need to be the best at everything, but that's not true. You need to be good at many things. You need depth. You need every single athlete to contribute. That 8th place finish in the 4x400 relay didn't look glamorous. Those runners didn't get to stand on top of the podium for that event. They didn't get their picture taken with a gold medal. But they got something better. They got a national championship. Because in team sports, sometimes the most important thing you can do is just score, just contribute, just add that 1 point that makes the difference. USC's strategy proved something important. Championships aren't always won by the fastest runner or the highest jumper. Sometimes they're won by the team that plans the best, prepares the hardest, and executes when it matters most. Every point counts. Every athlete matters. And sometimes finishing last in the final race is exactly what you need to finish first overall.
Running extra distance is Lena Irby. But we have seen her come off with a lot of steam. But she doesn't have it today. Kendall Ellis will win the heat and establish the time to beat at 50:34.
Kendall Ellis got locked in a porta potty just before the biggest race of her life. Most people would freak out, but she turned that bad moment into something amazing. In June 2024 at the U.S. Olympic Trials in Eugene, Oregon, it's less than an hour before the 400-meter semifinal, and Kendall Ellis is trapped inside a porta potty. She was banging on the door, screaming for help. Her Olympic dream was about to start, and she was stuck in a bathroom.
Before the semifinals of my 400 at Olympic Trials in Oregon, I went to use the restroom, the porta potty, and the lock got jammed. And I was stuck in there for about 10 minutes, an hour before my race. And so once I was panicking and realizing I did not have a way to get out, I started banging on the door, calling for help, and thankfully a worker.
Somebody finally freed her, and what happened next shocked everyone. She didn't just run the race. She destroyed it. She ran 49.81 seconds, breaking her personal best for the first time in 6 years. 6 years! That's longer than most people stick with a New Year's resolution. But here's where the story gets even better. The next day, in the final, she did it again. This time, she ran even faster, crossing the finish line at 49.46 seconds. That's more than a third of a second faster than the day before. She won the race, became the national champion, and earned her ticket to the Paris Olympics. After the race, Kendall talked about that crazy porta-potty moment. She said, "Crazy things happen right before something great is about to occur, so maybe I needed that to get all the nerves and adrenaline out." Only a true champion could find the positive in getting locked in a bathroom before the most important race of the year. Now, you might be wondering who Kendall Ellis is and why this comeback means so much. Let me tell you her story. Kendall is 28 years old and comes from Florida. She's not new to big stages. At the Tokyo 2020 Olympics, she won a gold medal in the women's 4x400 relay and a bronze medal in the mixed 4x400 relay. She's a 3-time NCAA champion, a 14-time All-American, and a 7-time Pac-12 champion. This woman knows how to win. But here's the thing, even though she had all those medals and achievements, people saw her as a relay specialist. That means she was known for running as part of a team, not by herself. And that bothered her because she knew she could do more. 3 years earlier at the 2021 Olympic trials, Kendall finished 4th in the 400 meters. She lost by just 0.07 seconds. That tiny amount of time kept her from going to Tokyo for the individual race.